Right, back together again for Proverbs. We finished up with chapter 26 last time, so we're heading into chapter 27 tonight. Remembering that we got 27, 28, and 29 is the end of Solomon's contribution to Proverbs. After 29 for 30 and 31, we've got the sayings of Agor, and then in 31 we have King Lemuel. So these last three are the last three for Solomon. So you better take them to heart, because we're losing Solomon after this. And we'll see what these other guys have to say.
My Bible. Oh yeah, there it is down there.
So who would like to start us off with 27? Let's see. Let's go 27 1 through 5.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
Okay. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise you, and not your own mouth, a stranger, and not your own lips. A stone is heavy, and a sand is weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than both of them. Wrath is cruel, and anger a torrent, but who is able to stand before jealousy? Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed.
Okay. So these all sound pretty straightforward, don't they?
Yeah.
I like the way that they so I like that we can look back at these things some thousands of years ago and as words of wisdom and recognize us today. So I said last week in my sermon that when I was in Uganda and when I'm in Asia, what I found out is that sin is the same. It's the great equalizer. And for people that are disquieted because people have different color skin or different shaped eyes or whatever it might be, and have a visceral objection to that, if they're a person of faith, they're not doing a good job, because the God made us all different and the same, and everything underneath is the same. So here, thousands of years ago, it's right on the mark to say that Mine says anger is cruel and fury is overwhelming, but who can stand against jealousy? So even back then, because we don't change, nothing has changed. So even back then, the is just like now. People who are jealous lose their mind. Anger can be controlled, even fury to a certain extent, but jealousy, people do the craziest things when they're jealous. So
Well, we don't talk about how to work through it and deal with it. I realized at one point 40 years ago that I really was prejudiced against Vietnamese people. Okay, it was what does it call it when you only know three people?
Prejudice?
No, I mean, okay, so I knew three people. One was wonderful, and the other two were awful. So I only knew three people.
right.
Now, I know a lot of awful Americans. I know a lot of really great Black people, but because I only know three Vietnamese, then it's really hard to work out your attitude or your feeling about that group, because your only exposure is this weensy little bit.
Right.
Um, and we should talk about it, I think. But how do you work on your thought when you only know one? Especially if you only know one and he's a rat.
Sure.
He's not the type, he's not any more than any one of those big ropes is the type. And too often we just say you shouldn't feel that way. But prejudices are a biological survival tool.
Right.
So you can't just say, no, 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 no.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things, cultural, economic, everything's kind of wrapped up in that, and especially today, in our time in the United States, it simply has to do with who lives here and who doesn't. So if you are living here, or if you're not living here, then you're bad. And if you're living here, you're good, maybe. So it's really just it's a very sad um, Anglo-European perspective because the the people that are propounding it are of Anglo-European descent. So it's really
All, all of those people, I'm sorry, are from somewhere else.
oh
And the
sure
longer they've been here, the more likely it is they were criminals, debtors, and creeps.
yeah
So you're all they are? Okay, so what should you have been? Your forebear should have been jailed for.
yeah. The problem is that the view is so small and short that there's no that makes no sense to them. Can't you
Yeah.
can't
It depends on
wouldn't
which
make
one of my forebears, on what they should
yeah.
be jailed for.
I mean, we can go back in our own
Hmm.
history and see, people
Yeah,
that
especially him.
The Italians
Drunks
trying
and
to keep
murderers.
the Irish out, and the Irish trying to keep the
No
Chinese
Irish need
out, and
apply.
it's all one after another. But back then it really was a one for one. It was a job for a job. Now it's not that way. Now it's just pejorative. And the main point is that it's not a faithful response at all.
No.
It's based on these other things, these emotions that are not well founded or well grounded, but their emotions just the same. So I think most of it comes out of fear. I think we're going to get into fear in a little bit as we read
Fear
on.
because we don't know.
What's that, Gail?
It's fear because we don't know.
Right.
We don't know our true history or the real history
Yep.
a lot of times.
Yep.
It's just sugar coated or,
Mhm.
so we don't know anything different than
Yeah.
what the news tells us a lot of times.
Yep. Very sad. Very sad. All right. Who wants to read? Let's see. Where were we? Six through
Six, yeah.
12.
I'll read it.
I'll read it.
Oh, do you
I
want
have
to?
a different Bible tonight. So faithful are the wounds of a friend, profuse are the kisses of an enemy. He whose appetite is satisfied disdains a honeycomb, but to him who is hungry, everything bitter is sweet. Like a bird who wanders from her nest, so is a man who wanders from his place. Oil and perfume make the heart rejoice, as does the pleasantness of a friend's suggestions from the heart. Do not forsake your friend and your father's friend, and go not to your brother's house in the day of your trouble. Better a neighbor who is near than a brother who is far away. My son, be wise and make my heart rejoice, that I may answer him who reproaches me. A prudent man sees evil and hides himself, but the simple go on and are punished.
Okay. What do you think?
I'm trying to find B.
I have to think about 12.
12?
A prudent man foresees evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
think about
it seems
me
pretty
when I lived in LA. I heard these sounds, and I thought they were firecrackers.
Oh,
I lived in the barrio. Are you kidding? It was gunshots.
right.
Um, and I think I lived there 2 years before I learned, oh yeah, no, you should be away from the windows and
Yeah.
so
Do you get that one, Steve?
Yeah. Yeah, and well, it seems like it's pretty straightforward, but I just I want to think. I got to think about it because I think there's got to be more to. There's something underneath it.
it's not exclusively true. Hide from evil. No, if you see somebody doing something wrong, you need to bring it to light and, save the company, save the,
But a prudent man foresees and I think hides himself means, and, takes measures to avoid it.
Right.
right.
The simple pass on and if you don't see it, then it gets you.
I was just watching a clip of a movie back today where I don't know what movie it was, reminded me of so many dog movies out there in the world. This was not a new movie, but the dog had, I'm guessing, rabies, and it was all snarly and nasty, and it had run away from home, and the little girl is saying, "Oh no, no, he loves me, he loves me. That's Boxer, and he's gonna be okay. He loves me, he knows me." And the little boy's going, "Oh no." Is something wrong with Boxer? Boxer doesn't look right to me. We shouldn't do this. We should go away. He said, "No, no, but he loves me, Boxer. Come on, Boxer. Come on." She gets on the ground. The dog's like salivating and like this stuff. So
Oh,
the dog, comes at her, going to chew her face off, and it gets shot by the father over there who sees it happening and luckily is right there on the spot. So that would be children, but a good example of a fool who just keeps going, saying, it's okay, it's going to be all right. Where the prudent one sees the signs and says, no, no, not going to do it. It's not that the punishment's coming from outside, it's the punishment that's going to be the recompense for being a part of whatever this thing is. It's
or
and a
even
natural,
just gravity.
yeah, it's
If you
natural.
ran a hit, it wouldn't have hit you on the head.
Exactly. Yep. Just a natural reaction. How about 7? He who fills, he who is full loathes honey, but to the hungry, even what is bitter tastes sweet.
Yeah, bitter things are pretty good.
Well, that's kind of, well, the first thing I thought of was, yeah, satisfied soul loathes the honeycomb. And that's, if people who have all their needs met and, live in a nice house and think that they can afford to,
Be
pass
picky.
over or say, I don't like that, or I don't like that part, that kind of food.
Right.
Or they can afford it, but people who don't have a lot, uh, they don't have the luxury of saying, I don't like that. But
Right.
they're grateful for everything they get.
When I was running the food pantry, there were all these weird foods that I've never tasted that people love. Oh, so I decided I'd buy a few of them and have them at home. And I can't remember what it was, but I served it for dinner. Everybody ate a bite. My children did that looking thing where they all looked at each other, and then I can't remember which one said, "Mother, never bring this home again."
Mhm.
But listen to my 7. The gorged throat revolts at honey. The hungry throat finds all bitterness sweet.
So it's not just food. I mean, remember we're talking about wisdom. I've
Right.
told you the old parable of the monk and the elder monk. Um, Remember where the young monk is making a name for himself. He's a brilliant guy. He's like Aquinas, brilliant, brilliant, and he's being known. And he's well known, and even in his as he's climbing the tree and becoming astute and wonderful and very popular in his own way, he still knows there's this elder monk, like maybe Magnus, who he wants to go see and talk to and share. And he goes to see the monk, and the monk meets him in the garden in a little place to eat and drink, and he has a teapot there. And monk comes and sits down, and the elder monk says, "Tell me about yourself." So he stands up and moves around, and he starts telling about all the places he's been and the degrees he's gotten and the parchments he's written and all the things that he's got planned and the stuff he's going to do. And as he's saying this, the old monk sitting at the table starts pouring the tea, and he pours the tea until the young monk looks down and realizes that the old monk has filled up his cup, and it's pouring all over the table and down onto the ground. And he thinks, oh, this old monk's senile. He doesn't know what he's doing. So he He said, "Oh, let me help you out. Let me help you take that pot away from you." And he's puts it down. He starts mopping up the area. And when he's doing this, the old monk gets up and walks away. And he turns up. He said, master, sir, what? And the old monk turns around and he says, "When something is full, it can hold no more." That was it. Walked away. So if we think that we know everything, we think we're all that, we think we've got it all worked out, we think we've got the decision made. I saw the three things on the news and I'm absolutely sure that that's the way it is because that's the way it is, period. Then I won't listen to anybody else. I won't hear anything else because I'm full. And no matter what else I hear, just goes right off me. It's like Teflon. So this is the same for good advice for everything, for economics, politics, for faith, for relationships. I mean, we do this too, right? I have a relationship with somebody and I don't hear from them, and I begin to believe that there's some kind of problem, and I build it up in my mind. And then when my loved one says, "Oh, that's probably not it. Maybe he did this," I won't listen to it. I'm like, "Ah, I don't think so. I think he's having a problem," and I suffer with it. I suffer until I find out what the truth is, and usually, the truth is so much better than the nasty thing that we think up.
And
But
more boring and
yeah. So no, when we're absolutely know what's right and wrong, and we're absolutely sure of it, we should think back on this parable and let ourselves be a little empty, so that we can listen and hear and entertain what might be a difference. All right, how about 19 through
we have 13 through.
19. We stopped
yeah,
at
third,
12.
sorry. Yeah, 13 through 19. Sue?
Yep, I'll do it. Take his garment, who becomes surety for another, and for the sake of a stranger, yield it up. When one greets his neighbor with a loud voice in the early morning, a curse can be laid to his charge. For if a persistent leak on a rainy day, the match is a quarrelsome woman. He who keeps her stores up a storm wind, he cannot tell north from south. All right, let me read that one more time. For a persistent leak on a rainy day, the mat is the quarrelsome woman. He who keeps her stores up a storm wind, he cannot tell north from south. An iron sharpens iron, so man sharpens his fellow man. He who tends a fig tree eats its fruit, and he who is attentive to his master will be enriched. Is that 18 we're stopping at?
One more.
Yeah, that was 18.
As one face differs from another, so does one human heart from another.
What translation is yours?
I have the New American Bible.
Okay. So vastly different than mine. It's even hard to figure out where you were at a couple of them.
Read 13 again, Sue.
13. Take his garment who becomes surety for another, and for the sake of a stranger, yield it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm not sure I follow that. But mine says, take the garment of him who is surety for a stranger and hold it in pledge when he is surety for a seductress. I'm not sure what that means either.
Oh,
Surety
13.
means-
Mine says, take the man's clothes. He has gone surety for a stranger. Seize him to the profit of persons unknown.
Wow.
I don't know what any of these mean.
So what does surety mean?
Security. It's just an old, I think that's
Or
old.
like a pledge.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Take the garment and
Hold take this asset in pledge for something.
hold it in pledge.
Right.
Surety.
Take the man's clothes.
And hold it in pledge when he is surety for a seductress.
Take the garment of him who is pledged for a stranger.
And my thing's for an alien woman, this other Bible. And it's like, where did you get the girl? You know, if the boys treated the girls better, you wouldn't have all these things where it's the girl's fault.
Well, there, like in 15, a continual dripping on a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. That's pretty straightforward, but it's I wonder what this guy's home life was like.
Oh, yeah. No, my 15, 16 are interesting in Jerusalem. The steady dripping of a gutter on a rainy day and a scolding woman are alike.
Yeah.
Whoever can restrain her can restrain the wind, and with his right hand grasp oil. Which is to say, ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, it looks like what the when we break it when it's broken up in the Hebrew and then explained, it looks like they're saying that this is actually about lending and keeping and about doing it poorly. And that the first part is saying that the garment of one who puts up security for a stranger so that you don't know this person, but you're willing to go out on a limb for them is the first part. Hold it in pledge if he does this for, mine says a wayward woman. So he said, hold it in pledge if he does it for a wayward woman, meaning that it's a foolish thing to do to lend or
Right.
to secure this other person because they are, the first person is an unknown element, a stranger. The second person is a known problem. So in the first one, be careful with what you're doing. And in the second one, don't do it. If you're wise enough to realize that this is a bad investment, don't invest. Don't let someone talk you into doing something that you know better than. So I agree, that's a very difficultly worded verse, but that seems to be
And
what.
I have these two Bibles that are very different, and neither one of them works very well.
Yeah, McDowell paraphrased. He said, "Let us be careful not to make promises we can't keep, or sureties or security for those we barely know. Our reputation, our
There you go.
resources are dear. Let's guard them wisely." That's about it. So the second person, the wayward woman or the whoever it was in somebody else's Bible, is the representation of the bad investment. Don't do
That
it.
you don't, or somebody who's sketchy, you don't know them.
Yep, exactly. That's what it's saying.
Well, the way I'm looking at it is, it says, take his garment who becomes surety for another. So the man is kind of like taking out a loan. He gives his garment in place of that, right? So
Right.
you can take that, but for the sake of the stranger, yield it up. So if that person needs something, then give it to them out of what you have, right?
Okay.
So it's giving to the poor. So the man who used his garment as loan collateral has the intention of working and paying it off. But the poor man, just the sake of the stranger, the poor man just can't do it. He needs help. Give him a garment.
What's your second half of that verse?
And for the sake of a stranger, yield it up.
Oh, that's different. That's how you get that.
Is that the first half or the second? You're reading 13, right?
That's the second
Yeah.
half.
So the first half, so this is 13 for me. Take his garment who becomes surety for another, and for the sake of a stranger, yield it up.
Sounds different than what I know.
Okay, so I had a thought, but it's gone.
Uh-oh.
It went.
So here, you want to get really deep with it? Take his garment who becomes surety for another. You could actually look at that simply as being Jesus dying on the cross for everyone, and they took his garment. He became surety for everyone else.
Yep.
Yeah, you can.
And for the sake of a stranger, yield it up. So for the sake of a stranger, give what you have
Yeah.
so that you can give just as Jesus gave on the cross.
Second part.
Okay, I like that explanation. It,
Well, yeah, but her
The-
translation has lost the second part about the
but
wayward
I
woman.
like,
Yeah.
but I like the explanation that that Sue has, but it's.
I don't have
I
the thing about the harlot. I don't have that in here.
yeah, I don't know why we all have different translations and they all make it just sound weird. That none of them are easy to understand.
I like the way yours without the wayward woman, or what does it say in mine? Yeah, wayward woman. I like your explanation. I think that you explained that verse really well without the wayward woman in it. With the wayward woman in it, it's just different. It's just I think it's exactly, I mean, I'm reading it over here over and over again in different verses or different translations. It really just, it looks like it just comes down to um, taking a risk on somebody and standing by the risk you're taking. That's the stranger in the first one, but not with the wayward woman. The second one is that she's a poor bet. She's somebody that you can discern is not going to be a safe investment. So just be careful. I think that's
Well, the
really
thing
all.
that gets me is, what do you think the statistical likely is that the rat is going to be a woman versus the rat is going to be a man?
50-50.
Well, back then it was back when this was written.
You know, we know the story of Ruth. Here's your alien woman, and Boaz does all this junk because there's this shirt tail connection by
Right.
marriage to a foreigner. Of course, the examples of the women in the Bible are very, very good or very bad.
Well, there really was nothing in between, was there? When we hear the women that are of good repute are married or they're daughters of, and in their culture and society, those women are protected and kept out of any kind of social arrangement at all. They have very limited ability to converse and to visit and to be with anyone because they're protected. But the women who are out on their own doing their own thing, they're out there doing their own thing. They've broken all the rules and the mores of society and the culture, and they're, not only perhaps involved in some sinful act like the harlot, but they've also broken the tradition of the culture, and they're an outcast because of that. And people that do that kind of thing can't be trusted at all. How can you trust somebody who's turned their back on both their moral code and their cultural code? So
But if you
remember
look at the 31st chapter, it's all about the wise woman can.
Mhm.
And according to Solomon, the wise woman can go to the gates and sell your stuff and make you rich. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, but I think I mean, this is a very archaic term, but that's a kept woman. That's a woman who's in a relationship, and the relationship is based on the faith and the culture and the guidelines, the desires, the wants, the working processes all in concert. And you think
sometimes
about
I'm really done with the guys are okay and the women are sketchy. The guys are okay. Okay, the history of these guys, they're rats. They're awful. They're unfaithful. And that's okay. Oh, I
no,
guess boys will be boys.
no, I think what he's doing, he's using an example that is simply nothing else than what it is. So you can meet, let's say you walk down the street and you meet 10 guys walking down the street, and they're all dressed differently and they talk differently and they're moving along. I don't know anything about them. Are they fishermen? Are they cobblers? Are they builders? Are they, advisors? I don't know. I can't tell if they're good or if they're bad. They're just guys walking down the street. Then here comes this woman. She's walking with this other woman. She's carrying her goods on her, and they're keeping to themselves, and they're walking along where they're supposed to, and they're not talking to strange men because that's a cultural no-no. And they're going to do their buying, and they're going to go away. So I know what they are too. They're women that are in this relationship and respecting their culture. But here comes this other woman. She's got her hair down, which you don't do, and she's wearing these colors and this type of dress that you don't wear, and she's flirting around with the men in the street like she's doing because she's trying to drum up money. Well,
Well, if you
easily
look at either
identified.
one of those, that you don't know you don't know if you can trust the women who are uh quiet and dress conservatively and all that kind of stuff. And you
And
don't and you don't know if you can trust this other woman
I
because
think you're
And the
going too
guys
deep.
going down the street,
No, you're going too deep.
they're very
Solomon's-
scary.
Solomon's using it as a one-for-one example. If I see this woman hair down flirting with the guys in the street, I know what she is. That's it. We're done. She's separated from culture. She's separated from their faith. It's like Mary Magdalene was in the beginning of the Chosen. You know, she's going to that bar down with the thing, and the bottom she's gambling. She's hanging out with all these guys because that's her profession. So I know exactly what she is. I can name her. She is countercultural, right? No respectable people want to have anything to do with her. That doesn't mean that she hasn't got clients in that culture. What Solomon's just doing is he's saying, if you look at this guy right here, we don't know what he is. He's just a guy. He's wearing normal clothes and he's walking down the street. But when you see her, you know exactly what she is. She's like a billboard. So he's saying if we just take that as an example, this guy, you're right. I don't know. I'm going to take a risk on him. Maybe he's a good guy. Maybe he's not. I'm going to lend for him. I'm going to take from him. Okay. But this woman, I know exactly what she is. I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm going to stay away from it. So it's just a one for one. It's not saying women are worse than men or men are better than women. He's just using the picture of a picture that's very easy to identify. We used to do it with Snidely Whiplash. Remember him? If you saw Dudley Do right? He's got the white hat and the white stuff. He's the good guy. You see Snidely Whiplash, he's the bad guy. And anybody else that you see in any movie or any cartoon with the dark clothes and the mustache and hunched over like that, that's the bad guy. And you know it right away. And that's all Solomon's doing. He's using that image of the harlot as the example of what you can just tell. So it's not a commentary about women and men. It's just an example. All right, let's see. Where else are we going? What was your 15, Sue?
For a persistent leak on a rainy day, the match is a quarrelsome woman.
Yeah.
I wonder why they chose that imagery.
What's your 16? What's the next one?
He who keeps her stores up a storm wind. He cannot tell north from south.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, whoever restrains her restrains the wind and grasps oil with his right hand.
Yep.
This is interesting, I think. On 14, mine says, when one greets his neighbor with a loud voice in the early morning, a curse can be laid to his charge. Like,
Don't yell
disturb,
before
don't
dawn.
disturb the silence. Don't disturb the peace. I'm
Yep.
still having my coffee.
Yep. What were you
Yeah.
saying, Kara? What were you saying, Gail?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that is again, you're just talking about it's an example of behavior that's good and behavior that's bad.
Yeah.
Identifiable. We have a
And-
neighbor that just got chickens. And I don't mind chickens. I think they're great. But having lived next door to the chicken guy now for a little while, I realized that if I had chickens, I would have gone to my neighbors and talked to them. Because the old adage that that the crow gets up in the morning, the rooster gets up and crows in the morning is a lie. That rooster will crow whenever he darn well feels like it. So
Yeah, it's a 24-hour job to crow.
about 4 days ago, when it was nice outside, it was cool. We had this slider open. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning because that rooster was out there blowing his horn. 4 a.m. to 4:20, going like it's bright daylight. When I get home at 4:30, he's going at it. So I think it would just be a nice thing for my neighbor to have come over and said, "Hey, yeah, I'm getting chickens and I have a rooster and may cause some problems, and I'm really sorry, and I will try to fix it, or let me know, or whatever. I don't know. I can't do anything." So I think it's just this idea that says this somebody that's going out in the daytime in his community and yelling even nice things to his to one neighbor is not being very considerate of everybody else,
Even of the neighbor.
even of the neighbor.
We have a nice neighborhood here, and sometimes I go out early to fix the trash pickup or whatever, and people will just be quiet and wave. But later on in the day, they would have called over and said,
Mhm.
"Hey, how you doing?"
Yep.
So it's that beautiful peace time in the morning, that beautiful quiet time in the morning is honored.
Yeah, you don't get up on Saturday at 6 o'clock and mow your lawn. You can.
We had a neighbor who did that,
Uh,
and I yelled at him, and I was the witch, but somebody else must have talked to him because he doesn't do that now.
yeah. Hey,
7 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
According to the law, I can make noise at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's
And I
somebody
said,
else.
those elderly people, you're going to do that to them?
Yeah. Anybody who thinks that way just doesn't care about their neighbors. In fact, I think that's going out of their way to offend people. Yep. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Where we stopped? 20. Okay, he wants 20 to 27 is the end. Who wants to read that? Gail?
Okay. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. The refining pot is for silver and the furnace for gold, and a man is valued by what others say of him. Though you grind a fool in a mortar with a pestle along with crushed grain, yet his foolishness will not depart from him. Be diligent to know the state of your flocks and attend to your herds. For riches are not forever, nor does a crown endure to all generations. When the hay is removed and the tender grass shows itself, and the herbs of the mountains are gathered in, the lambs will provide your clothing, and the goats and the price of a field. You shall have enough goat's milk for your food, for the food of your household, and the nourishment of your maidservants.
Okay. So we jumped into 23 through 27. Obviously, is a very positive recommendation for how you run your farm, your animals, and how you look forward. So that's really a little block all by itself. The ones that we're up above it, death and destruction. On mine's 20 says death and destruction are never satisfied, and neither are the eyes of a man. Death and destruction combined with the eyes of a man. What do you think of that?
I have one saying Sheol and perdition.
Yes.
So the grave and perdition.
Yep. So we're talking, he's using examples about as extreme as you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's absolutely right on. I have talked with people, I've talked with men who have gotten in big trouble because where their eyes go, and they can't, then what they say, they keep saying is, I can't help it. 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 Truth be known, it takes I think a lot of energy for anybody when something is very interesting to look away.
Yeah.
You know, this is an interesting cultural thing in the United States. If you're sitting in a diner by the window eating your chili dog and drinking your cherry Coke, and you're looking out on the street, and somebody walks across the street dressed strangely, you may look at them for a minute, but when they look at you, you look away. Like, don't stare. We tell our kids, don't stare. And when they're not looking, you try to get one more glance before they turn the corner. right? Well, Ellie told me on the phone the other night that in Italy, it's exactly the opposite. It doesn't matter if you're wearing something strange or not, because when you show up and someone wants to look at you, they stare at you the entire time. Like they don't move their eyes from you. They watch you completely. She said it was so unnerving for her, but when she realized that all these people were staring at her, and then she watched from a diner, from a bistro on the street, and she said, "Oh, it's everybody. They just stare at everybody. You walk by, and they'll just foot the top of your head, stare at you the entire way." So they've kind of embraced the idea that when you want to look at something, you want to look at it. For us, we tear ourselves away. We have to teach our kids to tear themselves away. And in Italy, they've said, heck, let's just do it. I mean, it comes natural. Let's just lean into it.
And I wonder, because they satisfy the look,
Hmm.
if they're then, you look until you're bored with it,
Right.
you're bored with it.
Yeah.
Whereas
Maybe so.
this keeping it forbidden fruit
Right.
actually keeps you thinking about it.
Yep. And I think that has merit, Carolee.
Which
I
is
completely agree. Yeah.
funny.
Yep. I'm when I go over there, I can't wait to see to see what this looks like. I have not seen this anywhere else, so that's a unique thing as far as I know, at least for that area of the world.
Well, it'd be interesting to monitor at the end of, like, you go to lunch and sit in a cafe and hang for an hour and do that. Then go somewhere and think about what you remember, what you thought
Right.
about,
Right.
alone in the dark.
Yeah,
Um,
I completely agree. It'd be very interesting. I'll empirical study for a couple days, staring at
Yeah.
people. Uh, let's see. Though you grind a fool in a mortar, grinding him like grain with a pestle, you will not remove his folly.
Yeah, I like the imagery from that.
Yeah.
You grind a fool in a mortar along with the crushed grain, yet his foolish will not depart from him.
Even, this is an extreme, like the other one for me, death and destruction, and for Carolee perdition. This is another extreme, saying that there's really removing any other direction, other answer for this. They saying this is just built in. A fool's a fool's a
It's
fool.
such an outlandish imagery.
Well,
Yeah.
well, it's basically, it's saying, well, some people you just can't help, but
Right.
that's.
Yeah.
No
That's it.
matter how you try.
No matter how hard you try. Yep. That's exactly it. Going to the extreme to say it. All right. Should we jump in at 28 for a few verses as we're drawing to the end? It's 23 minutes after. We have 7 minutes left. Let's go to 23. Let's see. Let's just start with 1 through 5. Who wants to do that one?
I'll do that.
Okay.
The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Because of the transgression of a land, many are its princes. By a man of understanding and knowledge, but by a man of understanding and knowledge, right will be prolonged. A poor man who oppresses the poor is like a driving rain which leaves no food. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand all.
There you go.
Did you want me to stop there or go?
Yeah. All right. So we got some good ones in here too. My first one, wicked man flees, though no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Carolee, what's your first line there?
The wicked flee when there is no one pursuing, but the righteous are as fearless as a young lion. Now the other one, the wicked man flees when no one is after him.
Yep.
The virtuous man is bold as a lion.
Yep. So again, it's the wicked man. So the wicked man is, I think of the little toady in some of the old movies. The little toady guy, the little, like the informer for the mafia, those old movies where he's an informer and he runs away from everything.
Yeah, the Peter Lorre type.
Yeah. He's afraid of everything, and even when he doesn't have to be, like he's just in the room and he's afraid of everything because what he does is just wrong and he knows it. And it seems to be that at any point anybody could punish him and it would be righteous because he's wicked. So he gets away when nobody's after him because everybody should be after him. And he knows it. He knows it. It's not a mystery to him. But the righteous man stands up. He doesn't flee. There's no reason anybody should be chasing him. And so there's no running.
Now, verse 2,
Hmm?
in Jerusalem, it's the fault lies with the headstrong when quarrels flare up. The discreet man quenches them.
Yeah.
Now, my mother's, when a land transgresses, it has many rulers. But when there is a man of discernment and knowledge, stability carries on. That's
Yeah.
so very different.
Mine simply says maintains order. When a country is rebellious, it has many rulers, but a man of understanding and knowledge maintains order.
Yeah. Okay. So Jerusalem was weird.
Yeah. Well, you think about Jerusalem, Jerusalem, oh Jerusalem, who stones the prophets and kills the prophets that
No,
sent
no,
you.
this is Jerusalem Bible.
Oh, okay. Well, even if you take Jerusalem as Jerusalem,
Oh, yeah, no,
there-
no.
yeah, but
It's
take
my mother's
Jerusalem
is
as
Berkeley and the other one is Jerusalem.
yeah, but take Jerusalem as Jerusalem. I mean, when Jerusalem was faithless, what it had? It
Oh,
has
yeah, anybody and their brother.
right the bouncing ball of king after king after king after king, are the ones that are listed as saying, and King so and so did this, and he was wicked and terrible before the Lord, and it went on and on and on, until you get to a righteous man like David or Solomon for the early years, and it's a long-term person who brings peace. Right? Mine 3 years was 3 was strange. What did your 3 say?
Mine is a poor man who oppresses the weak is like a cloudburst that needs no nourishment.
Okay, that's the
It
difference. Sue,
needs
what's
no
yours say?
nourishment or leaves no nourishment.
What's yours, Sue?
A rich man who oppresses the poor is like a devastating rain that leaves no food.
Yeah, that's closer to mine. I have a ruler who oppresses the poor.
Yeah. What, mine is a poor man who oppresses the poor. And I wonder if poor means the same thing in both cases. Um, a poor man who's poor in spirit, who oppresses the poor, who are poor in
In finances.
in finances or possessions.
Poor man oppresses the poor.
Now, Jerusalem here says, a wicked man who oppresses the poor, here is a devastating rain
Yeah.
and farewell bread.
Well, it's self-defeating, isn't it? If it's a poor man or if it's a ruler, the ruler who oppresses the poor is like a driving rain that leaves no crops. The poor in circumstances like that, I think, are the people who are growing the crops.
I like the Carolese first one. It says a wicked man who oppresses the poor.
Yeah, that's a lot of changes in here, isn't there?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can't get this. Let me get my Hebrew up and see what this is doing.
Oh, I should have read this. Jerusalem is cool. Those who forsake the law have a good word for the wicked. Those who observe the law have no time for such. Which is 4.
4, 5, and 6 are. I don't want to get into the political implications of them, but they're they're almost a perfect description of what's going on in this country right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Two. Because the transgression of the land are many its princes, but by a man
Or 3, 4, and 5. I mean,
knowledge and right will be prolonged. Cause of the transgression. Yeah, so this is different. I'm sure they're really trying really hard to get this translated. This says,
Which one? What number?
oh, this is 28:2. So the Hebrew beam upset, arrow of a beam. This is the transgression of the land that made by princes.
Which one are you doing?
2.
28:2.
No, I'm
So
sorry,
he's-
3.
3?
Yep, that was the wrong one. Hang on a minute.
Mhm.
Okay. No, it's a different pour. Hang on, let's see what the difference is. Strong. Team. Okay, the first word is defined as lacking or needy, a poor man, or destitute, lacks. So that's all very straightforward. And the second word is it's interesting. It's the same, but it doesn't have the depth of the definition. It's weaker, lean, dangling, thin. So it's still poor, but it's like it seems poorer. Then the first one is
That's
poor,
the-
but the second one's poorer.
Oh, like the bottom feeders. The guy
Yeah.
from the bottom who's trying to get the guy from next to the bottom is
Yeah.
picking on the guy below whom he can.
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
It's like a driving leaves no crop. So I take it as being self-defeating. You're going to destroy what you're doing destroys everything. Your sustenance is
What are you
gone.
gonna get from the guy who's weaker and poorer than you?
Yeah. Yeah. They're not certainly not fed. Well, you'd think that the person who's doing it is being fed in a cruel and horrible way. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but those who keep the law resist them. Very straightforward. Even men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand it fully. Why would we understand it fully?
Because God-fearing people are, I guess, more empathetic and
We're following the example of someone who is the epitome of justice. So justice could be this. Yeah, you can find Christ. Oh yeah, Christ did that. What the heck?
well, yeah.
Well, if we're for Christians reading this, understanding it fully is understanding that I'm just as guilty, but I've been forgiven.
Right. All have
So
sinned and all that.
yeah. So what do I do with somebody who has sinned against me? I try to forgive them because I understand justice. But that may not work for them. It's still what I try to do. You can forgive somebody who can't be forgiven. And now we're done. That was our bonus verses as we're now after the half
verses.
hour. So we will pick up at 6 here, 28:6. Remembering that we got 28 and 29 are Solomon, and then 30 and 31 we lose Solomon. We're on to two different guys. So we're coming to the end of our Solomon time, and we'll finish up with the king. Thank you guys. Great to be here. I hope that it's a really pleasant and wonderful night for you, that you sleep well. And I don't know what it's like outside. I hope it's cool. I can open the door.
Humid.
Good one.
All right.
All right, good night.
God bless you all. Have a good night.
Later.
Night.